Good evening. Welcome in. Good evening. Welcome in. I'm your host, Richard Green, aka Mint Chocolate Chip Balls or Minter. You can call me anything you want, but your mum or dad. Hey Timber, welcome in, pal. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, we're gonna play a game of a more or less today. So it's like a little quiz where I ask you a few questions and you tell me whether or not. No worries, Timber. Have a good day at work, my friend. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate that. Hope you don't work too hard. Good evening, Miss Daisy May. How are you? Woohoo! Yeah, I decided to come on tonight instead of tomorrow. Almost done, I hope. Oh, good. Been a long day, has it, Timber? Nice. How are you, Miss Daisy? My day's going good, thank you. Had a relaxed one today, like I said. Woke up with a bit of an hangover this morning, so managed to eat and recover. Had me coffee and that lot. I was confused. I'm like, didn't he say Wednesday at 6? Yep, I did, but because you said that you're planning on doing all day stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because you're at your son's, I thought I might as well pop on tonight instead and not ruin your days. And don't want to confuse your hours, so I'll do tonight as well as Sunday. And don't forget, it's all British trivia quiz this Sunday. So that is a plan this Sunday, everyone. It will be an all British trivia. Oh my goodness, don't you ever change that for me. Oh no, of course I've got to change that for you. There's no point in me coming live when you're live knowing that everyone's going to be in your channel, for God's sake. We'll all be in your channel. Gotcha, Sunday, all British trivia. I'm gonna listen. Hey Cameron, good to see you, sir. How's it going? How's your day been, Cameron? Not going too bad up here. Hey Vicky, welcome in. Good evening. Good evening, Kimberly. Hope you're well. So, who's ready to have a little bit of fun then? We've got a few people here now. Shall we start this shit show or what? I'm ready. Okay. Does it cost more or less than 3p to boil the average kettle in the UK? Does it cost more or less than 3p to boil the average kettle in the UK? You're saying less, Cameron. Kimberly's saying less. Miss Daisy May's saying more. And Kimberly's saying less again. And the correct answer, and the point goes to Miss Daisy May. Well, we're not playing for points, it's just for fun, but it's actually more. It costs around 6p to boil a 2 litre 3 kilowatt kettle. So it's 6p. So it's more. We do have the highest energy prices in You're not fucking wrong, Cameron. Was the tallest ever man more or less than 9 feet 3 inches tall? Me and my crappy internet did it. Was the tallest ever man more or less than 9 feet 3 inches tall? We got more, we got less, we got more, we got more. Timber say more. I think it was 10'7". No, you're actually wrong, Cameron. It was actually less. Miss Daisy May was right again. Robert Pershing Wadlow from Illinois, was 8 feet 11 inches tall. So Robert Pershing Wadlow from Illinois was 8 feet and 11 inches tall. Miss Daisy May's internet's doing her favours today. Way to go, Miss Daisy May. Yeah, way to go. So does Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky have more or less pages than Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire? Does Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky have more or less pages than Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire? Ah, I thought I read it when I was 12 in the Guinness World Record book, since my mind is not reliable. Got less, more. And to those who said less, it is less. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is around 640 pages long. Okay. Could the combined strength of all the hair strands on a human support more or less weight than that of an elephant? I haven't read Harry Potter. I should. Don't worry, I'm not a fan of Harry Potter either, Kimberly. I tried watching the first movie and I just wasn't into it. Daisy's smashing it. So could the combined strength of all the hair strands on a human support more or less weight than that of an elephant? So we've got two saying less, right on camera, my lucky day. More, less. It's actually more. Each strand of hair can support up to 100 grams. If you multiply this by the average number of strands on hair each head, which ranges from 100,000 to 150,000 total, the weight that a head of hair could support is equivalent to that of 2 elephants. Boo! Boo! So, is this time taken to walk from Liverpool to Leeds more or less than the time to fly from Liverpool to Sydney? Is the time taken to walk from Liverpool to Leeds more or less than the time to fly from Liverpool to Sydney? What's the answer? I missed it. The answer about Kimberley is each strand of hair is more. The answer is more. Each strand of hair can support up to 100 grams. If you multiply this by the average number of strands on each head, which ranges from 100,000 to 150,000, the total weight of that a head of hair could support is equivalent to that of 2 elephants. Spank the like button. So you're saying less for this one. So it's actually more. You guys say hello to Miss Jennifer. So it is more. Walking from Liverpool to Leeds would take around 24 hours, while flying from Liverpool to Sydney would take around 22 hours. So does the landmass of the US make up more or less than 9% of the world's total land mass? Hey, living life, my friend. Good to see you. That is some mission of a walk. Right down the canal. Yep. So does the land mass of the US make up more or less than 9% of the world's total land mass? So we got less, more, less. It is in fact less. The US makes up 6% of the world's total land mass. Does the UK consume more or less than 35 tons of strawberries during the 2 weeks of Wimbledon? Does the UK consume more or less than 35 tonnes of strawberries during the 2 weeks of Wimbledon? That in fact is actually less. It is estimated around 27 tonnes of strawberries are consumed. So 27, not 30, 35. Right, Gaza, I'm relying on you to know this one, and probably Cameron. This one's for you, Gaza. Has Manchester City won the Premier League more or less than 8 times? Has Manchester City won the Premier League more or less than 8 times? Kimberly saying less, Cameron saying more, Miss Daisy May saying less, Gaza saying more. Oh my God, the boys got knocked out by the girls on football. It is actually less. Manchester City has won 7 Premier League titles. So that's a good win for the ladies. Sorry, boys, but you need to go back to football school. I'm a rugby fan. I'm Welsh. Yeah, well, at least rugby's a real man sport, right? They don't cry at every little tackle they get. Take off 2 weeks because they got a little tap to the side of the ankle. Considering first language speakers only, are there more or less speakers of English than speakers of Spanish? Considering first language speakers only, are there more or less speakers of English than Spanish speakers? We let each other down there because I thought you were an ice hockey fan, Gaza, but you know you meant to follow sports. So this one is less. There are an estimated 372 million native English speakers and 437 million native speakers of Spanish. So there's more native Spanish speakers than there is English. So, does the US Army have more or less people than the Chinese Army? Does the US Army have more or less people than the Chinese Army? I'm crap all at this. Hey Kim J, good to see you. Hope you're having a wonderful evening, my friend. Hey Thundercase. It is less. The Chinese army has an estimated 2.2 million people, which is around 1 million more than the US. So the US has around 1.2 million and China has 2.2. So of the total oxygen that is consumed in our body, does our brain consume more or less than 10%? Of the total oxygen that is consumed in our body, does our brain consume more or less than 10%? How are you today, Thunder Kitters? How is Osiris and Thunderbuddy doing? Yes, you're all correct. That is more. The brain receives around 20% of the oxygen used by the body. I'm doing well, thank you, Thunder Kitties. I've been fun hanging out with you lot, having a little smoke, and you know, life's good. Is the population of Ireland more or less than the population of Brighton? Is the population of Iceland more or less than the population of Brighton? Ice hockey, Coventry Blaze, it says, Gaza. Less, sounds like a trick question. Less, what's Brighton? Brighton, the seaside place, Miss Daisy May. It's actually where I went to watch Fatboy Slim live back in 1998. at Brighton Pier. So it's actually more. The population of Iceland is around 360,000, whilst the population of Brighton is around 275,000. I'm going with less than. No, it is more. Oh yes, I meant more. I misunderstood it. Yeah, Brighton's not too bad. As the Da Vinci Code had more or less book sales than Catcher in the Rye. As the Da Vinci Code had more or less book sales than Catcher in the Rye. Yes, no, Tim's the only one that got that wrong. It is more. The Da Vinci Code has had 80 million book sales, whilst Catcher in the Rye has had 60 million book sales. So well done to all who said more. So, can a ball python go without food for more or less than 9 months? Can a ball python go without food for more or less than 9 months? Da Vinci Code is. I've never actually read it myself or watched the movie. Cameron. More, less. Thunder Kitties and Kimberly are right, it is less. Ball python can go without food for around 6 months. They are able to lower their metabolism rate, which allows them to survive for an extended period of time. Is the surface area of a human lung more or less than 500 square feet? Is the surface area of a human lung more or less than 500 square feet? I'm a big Catcher in the Rye fan from high school. Oh, really? Yes, Kimberly, it is more. The surface area of a lung is around 750 square feet, which is the same as half a tennis court. Yes, it is more fun to kids. Okay, if you took all the known data from the beginning of history up to the year 2003, is that more or less than we produce in 6 months at current day data levels? If you took all the known data from the beginning of history up to the year 2003, is that more or less than we produce in 6 months at the current day data levels? That is, in fact, less. We produce the equivalent of around the amount of data in just 2 days. We produce the equivalent amount of data in just 2 days. So it's less, we're only doing half of it. Hey Angie, welcome in. Okay, here's one for you. On average, does Glasgow receive more or less rain than Cardiff? On average, does Glasgow receive more or less rain than Cardiff? It'll be less now that 16-year-olds are banned from social media in the UK. It's actually less. Cardiff is on average the wettest city in the UK with 1,152 millimetres of rain every year. So Cardiff is on average the wettest city in the UK with 1,152 millimetres of rain every year. So that is less. Does sound travel at more or less than 900 miles per hour? Does sound travel at more or less than 900 miles per hour? Blame the Welsh for the rain. That's my Welsh cunt. Manchester's known as a rainy city as well, don't forget that. Hey Pezzo, good to see you, my friend. Yes, it is actually less. The speed of sound travels at 767 miles per hour. The speed, so it is less. The sound of speed travels at 767 miles per hour. It is a good one. Was the cat's eye invented more or less than 75 years ago? Was the cat's eye invented more or less than 75 years ago? Got more or less, more. Yes, and the answer is more. The cat's eye was invented more than 75 years ago and was patented by Percy Shaw in 1934. The following year, he established a company to manufacture them. In the percentage of smartphones in the UK that are iPhones, more or less than 70%. Is the percentage of smartphones in the UK that are iPhones more or less than 70%? Hey, Travellers After Dark, my friend, good to see you. Welcome in. Got a lot of mixed answers here, but the answer is less. Just under half of all smartphone owners in the UK have an iPhone. Well, I have both. I can't say nothing. I got Android and iPhone, but it is less. Hey, Associate Minister, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're having a wonderful evening and you've had a really pleasant day. Thank you for stopping by. So, does a crocodile have more or less teeth than a dolphin? Does a crocodile have more or less teeth than a dolphin? Less, more, less. It is actually less. A crocodile has 64 teeth, whereas a dolphin has 100 teeth. 21's like, you only got a third of them right there, Cameron. It's 64 teeth for the crocodile and 100 teeth for the dolphin. Stop. What wanker counted those teeth? Probably Steve Irwin. You know what that crazy Australian was like, right? He was right in their mouth, him. He was counting the teeth, I'm telling you. Okay, does the average person in the UK spend more or less than 3 hours on their smartphone every day? Does the average person in the UK spend more or less than 3 hours on their smartphone every day? Yes, it is more. A recent study found that the average UK person spent an average of 3 hours and 37 minutes on their smartphone each day. Is the House of Lords made up of more or less than 900 members? Is the House of Lords made up of more or less than 900 members? Richard Green alone brings TJ. Got less, more. Yes, it is less. The House of Lords has around 800 members. Yes, so there's only 800 members, not 900. Overpriced bastards, you're not fucking wrong. Sack 'em all, that's what I say. Fuck the government. Bunch of fucking money grabbing fuckers. Does the UK consume more or less tea per capita than Japan? Does the UK consume more or less tea per capita than Japan? That is actually more. The UK consumes more tea per capita than Japan. The UK ranks among the top tea consuming nations in the world with an average annual consumption of around 1.9 kilogram per person every year. Wow, that's a lot of tea. Did Avatar gross more or less in the box office than Titanic? Did Avatar gross more or less in the box office than Titanic? I drink coffee in my pint pot. I got a latte right now. Love Avatar. Yes, good movie. It is actually more. Both directed by James Cameron. Avatar grossed 2.8 billion, while Titanic grossed 2.2 billion. So it was only 0.6 billion between them. I went on the ride at Walt Disney. Oh, really, Kibble? When did you go there? Endgame is the only thing that beat Avatar. I think there's been a few that beat Avatar now. But Avatar did rank the top one for a while. In April. Oh, nice. How long did you go for, Kimberly? 0.6 billion sounds okay to me. right, Pezzo? I could live comfortably with that amount. I'm telling you now. I'd buy my own little private island. You know, I'd have my own private yacht. I'd just go off my island and do my shopping. And then I'd just get back on my boat, go back to my island, you know. But it won't be no Epstein Island, I'm telling you that for sure. Definitely will not be no kids on my island. Right, the sun could accommodate 64.3 million moons. Could it fit more or less than 500,000 Earths? The sun could accommodate 64.3 million moons. Could it fit more or less than 500,000 Earths? Good luck on our exams. Oh, good night. Trails after dark, and good luck with your exams, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a wonderful night and sleep well. God bless. Yes, it is more. Around 1.3 million Earths could fit into the sun. It's around 1.3 million Earths could fit into the sun. Does it take more or less than 400 seconds for the sunlight to reach Earth? Does it take more or less than 400 seconds for sunlight to reach Earth? Cameron saying less. Because there's less. It's actually more. It takes 492 seconds for the sunlight to reach Earth. So it takes 492 seconds. Deacon, why the stop? I thought that was a typo. Oh bollocks, I blame Miss Jennifer. Does the average person blink more or less than 10,000 times per day? Does the average person blink more or less than 10,000 times per day? Wow. I mean, who's counting or who's really going behind all the science of these sort of questions, you know what I mean? Who's studying this? This seems like a lot to me, but the answer is more. On average, a person blinks 28,800 times per day. Could you imagine? Who's counting that? Does Istanbul span more or less than one continent? Does Istanbul span more or less than one continent? You've had a staring contest during the day or not? That's so true, Cam. If I stood here right now in your staring contest, I wouldn't blink for at least half an hour. My naughty nurse got a question wrong. Yes, it is more. Istanbul is the only city in the world that spans two continents. One part of Istanbul lies in Europe and the other part lies in Asia. In the speed, it is the speed of light more or less than 250,000 kilometers per second. Is the speed of light more or less than 250,000 kilometers per second? To separate the answers for each question, I got the idea from the YouTube channel Live with Tasharia. It helps the content creator see who came in first when answering a question. I just go on who comes up top on whoever I see on my screen associate, which when I'm normally playing for points, when I do my trivia on Sundays, it's whoever gives me the answer first on my screen for each question would get the points. Sometimes we all have arguments, like we all do it in Miss Daisy or anyone else's, like you might be first on your screen, but the host might see someone else's answer first, so it always goes to whatever the host sees, which Miss Daisy got to understand that, and others. Has anybody seen heard from Rickley? I have not, Miss Daisy, mate. I've not even seen him, I don't think, in Discord for a little while. This is just for a little fun, this one. Yes, Cameron? This is just hang out and have fun, this one. Just so you can it's just hang out, a little bit of fun, and get to learn a little bit of stuff as well, you know. Because you're not just getting an answer more or less, you're also getting the answer to why it's more or why it's less. You'd be wondering about him, yes. It probably had, he might have got more hours in work, Miss Daisy. He did say he was hoping to get promoted and get more hours, hopefully. So I'm hoping that's just the case. He's got more hours in work and he's not got the time to get online. And the answer to that was more. The speed of light in a vacuum is approximately 299,792 kilometers per second, which is commonly rounded up to 300,000 kilometers for simplicity. Mm-hmm. Yep, we all understand, you know, you got to always pray and think about the ones we don't see. But I just hope it's just busy with other things. Okay, next one. Does the Sahara Desert cover more or less than 8 million square kilometers? Does the Sahara Desert cover more or less than 8 million square kilometers? Hopefully Miss Jennifer is cooking me tacos on Taco Tuesday. I'm craving Mexican food tonight. Oh, nice, got the chicken stuffing with parsnips, some boiled potato, and some peas. It is Mars. The Sahara Desert, the world's largest hot desert, covers an average area of approximately 9.2 million square kilometres. Tell you what I've been worrying about, or I've not seen for a long time as well, is our lovely Miss Lisa Smiles a lot. I've not heard from her for a long time either. If anyone's seen her around anywhere. I hope you've not had an argument with her, because she might have had too many jalapenos. Jalapenos ain't nothing, Cameron. The desert is huge. Yes, it is. Peas, I'd rather eat rice cakes. Yes, Lisa, did you see her on Discord the other day? No, I didn't miss Daisy May, I missed that. Was she in the Discord? Is she okay? No, I said hello to Ramsey. Oh, really? Well, at least she's in Discord, though. That's the main thing. Because I remember, did she break a hip or something last time we heard from her? And she was in recovery, and she couldn't really get online too much. Okay, next one. A Munro is defined as a mountain in Scotland that is at least 3,000 feet high. Are there more or less than 400 Munros? A Munro is defined as a mountain in Scotland that is at least 3,000 feet high. Are there more or less than 400 Munros? Over the weekend, yes, she was there, but she only said one thing and that was it. Oh, wow. Just what she just said hello and that's it. Isn't it? I keep great ideas so I can be a better moderator. Well, that's okay. We appreciate everything that you do, Associate Minister. You know, you really do a good job at what you do. The way you know, you come up with all these different chats and spread all the love, the care, and you just really appreciate the community, and the community appreciates you for everything that you do too. Is the Highlands for a reason, right? Nope, it's actually less, Cameron. There are 282 Munros in Scotland, not 300. Not 400. Yeah, come on, Scotland. No, it's actually. Does the UK have more or less than 3,000 train stations? Oh, that's a good one. Top of their group in the World Cup. Well, I don't watch football, so that don't mean anything to me. It's actually less. There is only 2,563 stations in the UK. Birmingham had 3 more this year. Hey Stephanie, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. I hope you've had a nice day. Thank you for stopping by. So that was less. Okay. Is the shortest distance between the USA and Russia more or less than 40 kilometers? Is the shortest distance between the USA and Russia more or less than 40 kilometers? 2,500. Round it up, mate. That's basically 3,000. It's a big 400 and not different. That's a big difference. Yes, Pezzo, you are correct. It is less. At the closest point, the distance between the USA and Russia is only 3.8 kilometers. So yes, everyone has said less. Have sharks existed for more or less than trees? Uncle Airball, good to see you, my friend. How's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Hope your day's been well. So, have sharks existed for more or less than trees? Cheers, Uncle Airball, for coffee. Hi, hunks. Hi, hunks. So it's actually more. Sharks are at least 400 million years old and trees are around 350 million years old. So it is actually more. So, does the River Thames in England have more or less bridges crossing it than the River Seine in Paris? Does the River Thames in England have more or less bridges crossing it than the River Seine in Paris? They're my favourite marine creatures. Really? You love sharks, do you, Cameron? Nice. Hey, Paddy Phil. Uncle Airball found his Paddy Phil. Let's pin that one. It's actually more. There are over 200 bridges crossing the Thames, including pedestrian and railway bridges, while around 37 cross the Seine within Paris. Canal bridges, I'm assuming. There's actually more railway bridges than all else, actually, Cameron. Is the total area of the Lake District National Park in England more or less than the total area of the Snowdonia National Park in Wales? So you should know this one, Cameron. Is the total area of the Lake District National Park in England more or less than the total area of the Snowdonia National Park in Wales? I'm relying on you here now, Cameron. Yes, it is more. I don't know nothing of. Well, obviously you don't because you got it wrong, Cameron. Obviously you don't know your land surface areas, but you know, not all of us studied geography in school. The Lake District National Park has an area of 2,362 square kilometres, while Snowdonia National Park is 2,142 square kilometres. So there's not much difference between them. Wales smaller than England. Is a strand of hair more or less strong than a copper wire of the same diameter? Is a strand of hair more or less strong than a copper wire of the same diameter? That is actually more. A single healthy strand of hair is typically stronger than a copper wire of equivalent diameter. Back a billion years ago, Cam. I misunderstood. Okay. Is the length of the River Thames more or less than 350 miles? Is the length of the River Thames more or less than 350 miles? You would. Yes, it is less. The River Thames, which flows through southern England, including London, is approximately 215 miles, 346 kilometres long. Okay. This is another good one, a funny one for you. Right? You ready for this one? Does the average human fart more or less than once per hour? Does the average human fart more or less than once per hour? That is the question. Depends on what you ate that day. Yeah, if you had Taco Bell the day before, you're definitely farting all day the next day. So whoever's had Taco Bell today, got out their toilet tomorrow morning. Okay, so the actual answer is less. The average human farts 14 times a day. So the average human farts 14 times a day. Blokes more than women though. Those blokes are proud of our fart box. Oh Lord, I'm having Taco Bell. Better not be going to a game or anything, thank God, because if you are, you better take a spare pair of underwear. The Point Nemo on Earth is the point that is farthest from land in any direction around 1,000 miles. Is this more or less than distant from land than the International Space Station? Point Nemo on Earth is the point that is farthest from land in any direction around 1,000 miles. Is this more or less distance than from land than the International Space Station? The chat is evolving. Go get yourself a cock. Pipes down, heading in the house. More, less, more, less. Okay, that is actually more. Point Nemo, located within the Southern Ocean, is 1,000 miles from land and 258 miles from the International Space Station when it passes overhead. We want more public toilets in the UK. It's alright, you got a McDonald's. Go to McDonald's toilets after you've had your Taco Bell. Yeah, not the ones in London where you have to pay 20p to go buy it. That's the same. That used to be the same in Manchester train stations, Cameron. It was 20p to go and release yourself. Well, I used to just jump over the barriers, mate. I'm not paying to go and have a number two. F that. Does hand washing your dishes on average use more or less water than a dishwasher? Does hand washing your dishes on average use more or less water than a dishwasher? Same in Birmingham, New Street back in the day. Good luck, Rich. Good lad. I don't even pay for trams when I used to get on the tram, Cameron. I used to get on the tram every day to town to go skate and then get the tram back home. I wouldn't pay for it. If the inspectors got on, I got off. You're saying more water? That is correct, Pezzo. A recent study found that hand washing used around 3.5 times more water than a modern day dishwasher. Is the world record for sailing non-stop around the world 27,800 nautical miles, more or less than 25 days? Is the world record for sailing non-stop around the world 27,800 nautical miles, more or less than 25 days? Got the same, Mark. More than 25 days. Miss Daisy saying less. What was the question? The question was, is the world record for sailing non-stop around the world 27,800 nautical miles, more or less than 25 days? Yes, you're right, it is more. French sailor Francois Gabart, aboard a 100-foot trimaran, set a time of 42 days, 16 hours, 40 minutes and 35 seconds. Do more or less than 500,000 people die each day in the world? I've no idea about that, Gaza. Do more or less than 500,000 people die each day in the world? We're saying less. Pedal say less. Gaza's less. And yes, it was less. Approximately 60,000 to 60,000 deaths occur per day on average. However, this is a rough estimate, and the actual number can vary from day to day and year to year. Hey Todd, so good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. So the next one is, would a house worth £10,000 in 1950 be worth more or less than £350,000 in March 2023 when taking into account inflation? So would a house worth £10,000 in 1950 be worth more or less than £350,000 in March 2023 when taking into account inflation? So we've got more, less, more. How many wankers decided to do this research? A billion, if it's the UK. It's actually less. The house would be worth around 276,000 in March 2023. Still, that's a big profit to be made. if you manage to buy a house back then and have it still. That's a very tasty profit. 260 grand profit. Did production of the Lord of the Rings trilogy films cost more or less than the Hunger Games Part 1 and 2? Did production of the Lord of the Rings trilogy films cost more or less than the Hunger Games Part 1 and 2? Got more, less, more. Got more again. That is actually less. The Hunger Games Parts 1 and 2 cost a combined total of 300 million, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy cost 260 million. Is the average age of a mother's first birth in the UK more or less than 30? Is the average age of a mother's first birth in the UK more or less than 30? I'm going to say with the amount of skets we got these days, Cameron and Gaza, you know what I'm saying. like sketchy little girls these days. It's definitely got to be less. It's definitely got to be less. There's too many skets about. But this is actually saying more. The average age in the UK is around 31. Those little slappers, you're right. Them ones that wear all the short little skirts or put on a fucking a pair of shorts that just look like a pair of fucking granny knickers. Miss Jennifer is not far from 30. Having kids for the sake of finding a home when they're teenagers, like, oh yeah, you know, they got grandkids at 40. Their kids are having kids by the time they're 22. You know, kids are having them at 16 these days, 15 even. Was the tin can invented more or less than 150 years ago? Was a tin can invented more or less than 150 years ago? Say more, for saying less. The answer is actually more. Peter Durand is credited with the invention of the tin can more than 150 years ago in 1810. First World War was more than 100 years ago and they were eating out of tuna cans then. That's true, Cameron. So you're not wrong there. Hi Becca, or Big Tender, whichever one you are tonight. Welcome in. I'll say hi to both of you, just in case. If I find out I'm a dad and grandfather at 36, I will buy a lottery ticket. Okay, the next one. Do car airbags kill more or less than one person in every 10 that they save? Do car airbags kill more or less than one person in every 10 that they save? That's a good question. Goes the saying less. Got more. It's actually less. It is estimated that car airbags kill one person for every 2 lives that they save. So that's 1 in every 22 die. That's not too bad. The odds aren't too bad, 1 in every 22. Right. Okay, more or less than 8,000 people successfully climbed Mount Everest. More or less than 8,000 people successfully climbed Mount Everest. Got more. It's actually less. It is only totaled that around 4,000 people have ever successfully climbed Everest. So it's only 4,000, not 8. Would it take more or less time to walk from London to Oxford than from London to Brighton? What's with the bloody Brighton walking questions? For fuck's sake. Would it take more or less time to walk from London to Oxford than from London to Brighton? got more or less. I don't know if you've seen it, but Richard and Gaza, there's a series called Crash Detective on BBC, which is worth a watch about detectives that go to a real life crash scene. And, oh, I don't really watch much TV, Cameron, but I could probably try and check out an episode of something on YouTube. I'll have to have a look at that, but thank you. I do like watching like true crime stuff. So, but the answer is more. It would take around 18 hours and 45 minutes to walk to Oxford and 17 hours and 30 minutes to walk to Brighton. Definitely worth a watch. I'll look out for that, Cameron, on YouTube if I can. But I don't really watch telly, so on a telly, so as you can see. Has Rafael Nadal had more or less Grand Slam tournament wins than Roger Federer in tennis? Has Rafael Nadal had more or less Grand Slam tournament wins than Roger Federer in tennis? You're saying less, more. It's actually more. Rafael Nadal has had 22 Grand Slam tournament wins, whilst Roger Federer has only had 20. Yes, I have come, but I have seen an actual accident that was horrific. It's to Matthew, told Miss Jennifer. Well, Gaza, when I was 8 years old, I was walking down the road and I watched a motorbike go over underneath an 18-wheeler semi-truck, and the back wheels went over his head and the helmet crushed straight through his face, and he was dead on scene. If that wasn't a scary thing to see. Does the UK spend more or less than £239 per person on the armed forces every year? Does the UK spend more or less than £239 per person on the armed forces every year? Yeah, that was not a good thing to see at that age, Gaza. Wouldn't surprise me if it less. It's actually more. The UK spends around £650 per person each year on the armed forces. You know, it's not much, is it? £650. What's that to wipe your ass and give you fucking tins of beans each day? You know? Not exactly getting a dog's bollocks, are you? £650 a year. Fucking hell. We pay all this fucking national insurance and tax for what? Was the World Wide Web, WWW, invented more or less than 30 years ago? Was the World Wide Web, WWW, invented more or less than 30 years ago? Saying less, more. It is actually more. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, or the Internet, in 1989. I was literally 4 years old when the Internet came out. Okay. Does a slug have more or less than 2 noses? America as well, as they may be trained, are lacking in funding post-tour and support. Yeah. They try to cut more funding for the armed forces as well. Try to make less funding. Fucking a lot of wanker armed forces. Couldn't find a way out of a wet paper bag if they tried. You know? Talk about what fighting out of a wet paper bag. Did anyone watch that fucking stupid fight the other night? That Jordan McCann versus the IB for Big Boss. Oh my God, none of them two could throw a punch that life in them. They both wore themselves out trying. So it's actually more a slug has four noses, misfits, yeah, mate. What a farce. It was fucking what a load of shit, wasn't it? Man, that Jordan McCann cannot throw a punch that life in him, mate. If he acts like a big man in his music and shit, with all the backstage shit, and he just made a right fool of himself. Like two drunk marks, mate. It fucking did, mate. I'm telling you. It was like a script from Simpsons or Family Guy. If it was Homer Simpson versus fucking Peter Griffin and Homer Simpson, mate, after they both had the beer. So it's actually more of a slug has four noses. I can't be arsed with it. No, it's just not even worth it. And you see, I was just trying out happy because of how much he got paid at the end of it just for losing a fight that wasn't even worth fighting, mate. Fucking hell. Exactly, it's all for the money now. All for the money. It's like George Foreman. He was alright, but he makes a better grill now than he ever did a boxer. I'll give him that. That's it. That's the best thing. That's the best thing out of George Foreman is his grill, because his boxing wasn't any good. Welsh boys too. Joe Calzaghe. Are the odds of winning the Euro Millions more or less than 1 in 100 million? Are the odds of winning the Euro Millions more or less than 1 in 100 million? They're all saying less. Yes, it is less. The odds of winning are approximately 1 in 139 million. Do FTSE 100 companies earn more or less than half of their income from abroad? Do FTSE 100 companies earn more or less than half of their income from abroad? Got less, more. Yes, it is more. FTSE 100 companies earn around 75% of their income from outside the UK. Is Samsung worth more or less than 30% of South Korea's GDP? Is Samsung worth more or less than 30% of South Korea's GDP? So we've got more or less, more. And the actual answer is less. Samsung's value equates to around 20% of Korea's GDP. Yes, it is less, Miss Daisy May and Kimberly. Is the average baby's cry more or less loud than the sound of a car horn? Is the average baby's cry more or less loud than the sound of a car horn? Yay! We've got less, more. I thought Miss Daisy might have got this one right. We're having 3 kids. But The volume of a baby's cry, well, it's actually more. The volume of a baby's cry is around 115 decibels, more than the average of a car horn. So the volume of a baby's cry is around 115 decibels, more than the average car horn. Does the UK have more or less than 200 active lighthouses? Well, that's a good one. Does the UK have more or less than 200 active lighthouses? The owners are two to the moron. Yeah, just someone who's too lazy to get out the car and knock on a door. Those are the girl babies. I had babies laugh out loud. You say that girls are worse than boys, then, Daisy? She said, if I ever get a girl pregnant, she says she's having a girl, do I dump her and run before she has a kid, or stay? More than 200 lighthouses active. It is actually more. There are over 250 active lighthouses in the UK. Yes, squally cats. Louder and higher pitch. Yes, girls are louder. Are there more or less grains of sand on Earth than stars in space? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a very good question. Are there more or less grains of sand on Earth than stars in space? Miss Daisy saying less, Gaza saying more. Trick question. It's not a trick question. It's is it more or less? Less grains of sand. And yes, it is less. We're not explored all the space yet. True, that's true, Cameron. Just like we've not explored the whole of the surface of the Earth. But, you know, we're not the scientists. It's actually less. There are 10 times more stars in the night sky than grains of sand on Earth, with 70 sextillion stars being visible from Earth through a telescope. 70 0 0 0 point 0 0 point 0 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 0 0 stars, right? Oh, duck off yourself, cause oh, the duck's sake. So would a mosquito have to suck more or less than 16,000 times to completely drain the blood from a average human? Would a mosquito have to suck more or less than 16,000 times to completely drain the blood from a human? Yeah, that many years that you just said. That's how old my great Alexander would be. What is the duck's favourite drug? Quack. Oh, God. Quack. It's actually more. A mosquito would have to suck around 1.2 million times, kiddo. I don't think a Dyson Hoover can suck that long. Are there more or less than 60 cathedrals in the UK? Are there more or less than 60 cathedrals in the UK? Miss Daisy saying more. Miss Jennifer is better than a Dyson. I'll take your word for that one, Gaza. Only you can answer that. More cathedrals? It's actually less. Britain has 42 cathedrals, including some of the oldest and most spectacular in the world. So Britain has 42 cathedrals, including some of the oldest and most spectacular in the world. Did Netflix have more or less than 450 million subscribers worldwide in March 2023? Did Netflix have more or less than 450 million subscribers worldwide in March 2023? Because it didn't have her like that. You should hear how she talks to her friends about me in the bedroom. What about how you're not packing, Gaza? Is that why her favourite pet's a rabbit? It's actually less. Netflix had 230 million subscribers in March 2023. So it's less. Only more or less than 8 sheep per person in New Zealand. I'm backing good down. Only more or less than 8 sheep per person in New Zealand. Stay the same more. Right away back at the game. Right back to the game. Yeah, God was right, let's change subject. Let's not play big fish, little fish. It's actually less. There are less than 8, but more than 6 sheep for every person in New Zealand, with an estimated 30 million sheep in total. Kimber's like, Gaza, what the fuck? Although Pedro has a 50-50 chance on these questions, does he? Miss more or less than 50% answer. Much more. Pedro, don't doubt yourself. You're doing well. On the chase, you had 33% chance, so, you know, it's only more or less. So in 1997, the price of an average house was 3.6 times the average salary. In 2022, was the ratio more or less than 11 times the average salary? Me too, Pedro, don't worry. So in 1997, the price of an average house was 3.6 times the average salary. In 2022, was a ratio more or less than 11 times the average salary. I'm more or less just as bad as you, Pedro. I think even to myself, Cameron, if I was on the other side of the screen and it sat down typing, I'd probably be only 40 to 60% right. Less than 11. Yes, it is less. In 2022, the average house price was around 9 times the average salary. Oof, this is a good one. Do snails have more or less teeth than a great white shark? I didn't even know snails had teeth to start with, but okay. Do snails have more or less teeth than a great white shark? What? So do snails have more or less teeth than a great white shark? Pezzo says more. Three more. Snails have around 14,000 teeth. That's a lot of teeth. So snails have around 14,000 teeth. Does it take more or less than 200,000 steps to get to the top of Mount Everest? Does it take more or less than 200,000 steps to get to the top of Mount Everest? Jeez, yeah, I know, 14,000 teeth. That's a fucking lot. I didn't even know they even had teeth. It's actually less. It takes around 58,000 steps to get to the top. The summit of Everest is around 22 miles from base camp. You know, 58,000 steps. Don't seem that many. Less than 200k. Yes, way less than 200k, Pezzo. Is the seating capacity of Wembley Stadium more or less than 100,000? Is the seating capacity of Wembley Stadium more or less than 100,000? Goes the saying less. I have been there. I wanted to go, but I've not been yet, Gaza. But I do plan on going. You say more, Pezzo? It's actually less. The seating capacity is only around 90,000. So we're going to do 4 more cards and call it a night after that, guys. So we've got 12 more questions to go through. Does a large glass of white wine have more or less calories than Format Vitties Obnot biscuits? 268 calories. Biggest football stadium is in North Korea. I wouldn't know that. As you know me, I don't do ball games. Does a large glass of white wine have more or less calories than Format Vitties Obnot biscuits? 268 calories. It's actually less. A large glass of white wine has around 190 calories. Does it take more or less water to produce tea than coffee? That's a bit of a weird question, but okay. Does it take more or less water to produce tea than coffee? I guess it depends how strong you like your coffee or you like your tea. You know, if you like me, you like a builder's brew, you know, you like a dead strong tea, you're going to use more water than someone who likes a milky weak tea who's going to use more milk. but the answer is actually less. It is estimated that a standard cup of coffee, 125 millilitres, requires 140 litres of water to produce, considering all the steps from growing the coffee plant to brewing the drink. On the other hand, a standard cup of tea, 250 millilitres, requires around 27 litres of water. Strong tea for you too, Cam. That's the way to go, sir. Gotta have it strong. But wow. I mean, 140 litres of water, 225 millilitres. That's a bit of a. Don't make sense to me. I just want to know how much water you pour from a kettle into the cup. Wrong again. Yeah, wrong again. Is the population of Leeds more or less than that of Glasgow? Is the population of Leeds more or less than that of Glasgow? I don't like my tea real strong or real weak, but in the middle. But you keep your tea bag in till the end, Miss Daisy. So don't you like a bit of both? You start off weak and get stronger. But it's actually more. Leeds has produced. Leeds has a population of around 790,000 people, and Glasgow has a population of around 635,000 people. Is the area of Loch Lomond, Scotland, more or less than that of Loch Neagh, Northern Ireland? Is the area of Loch Lomond, Scotland, more or less than that of Loch Neagh, Northern Ireland? You're all saying more. It is actually less. Loch Lomond has an area of 28 square miles, and Loch Neagh has an area of 148 square miles. Did Genghis Khan kill more or less people than Adolf Hitler? That's a good question. Did Genghis Khan kill more or less people than Adolf Hitler? I only know Loch Lomond. Yeah, my streak is strong. Yes, it is more. Quantifying the number of people killed by historical figures like Genghis Khan or Adolf Hitler is complex. However, based on best estimates, it is thought Hitler killed around 20 million people and Genghis Khan killed around 40 million. Does Scotland have more or less than 1,000 highlands? Genghis was a beast. He didn't care, man. He had no care in the world for anyone. Got in his way, he suffered the consequence. Does Scotland have more or less than 1,000 islands? Genghis and Stirling were probably worse than the Austrian painter, both more brutal. Yep. You're saying more, Gaza? Less, Pezzo is correct. Yes, Cameron, it is less. Scotland has around 790 islands, not 1,000. When glass breaks, do the cracks move at more or less than 1,000 miles per hour? When glass breaks, do the cracks move at more or less than 1,000 miles per hour? We know the fuck's done this experiment. It is actually more. The cracks move at 3,000 miles per hour. What the fuck? Yes, it is more, Pezzo. The cracks move at 3,000 miles per hour. Okay. Does an African elephant weigh more or less than a killer whale? Does an African elephant weigh more or less than a killer whale? It's saying less. More. It is actually less. Both African elephants and killer whales, orcas, are among the largest animals on the planet. African elephants, the largest land animals, can weigh up to 6 to 7 tons. Killer whales can weigh up to 6 to 10 tons and are on average heavier than an African elephant. On average, does a person have more or less than 500,000 strands of hair? On average, does a person have more or less than 500,000 strands of hair? And that is less. An average person has between 100,000 and 150,000 strands of hair. So it was less, Pezzo. So, like you said yourself, you're lacking in your 50-50s. Is the coastline of Denmark more or less long than the Great Wall of China? Is the coastline of Denmark more or less long than the Great Wall of China? Depends on how hairy they are. Well, not like me, because I've lost my head of hair, but I reckon there's about 80,000 up there. And that is actually less. Denmark has 4,544 miles of coastline, which is shorter than the length of the Great Wall of China at 13,107 miles. I want to say more, but it sounds like a truck question, so I'll say less. And you was right to say less, Cameron. Has Jack Nicholson been nominated for an Academy Award more or less times than Meryl Streep? Has Jack Nicholson been nominated for an Academy Award more or less times than Meryl Streep? Sounds like more. This question's kind of a tricky one. Anyone else? It's actually One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Brilliant movie. I've not really watched much Jack Nicholson movies, so I can't really comment on that one. But it's actually less. Jack Nicholson has been nominated for 12 and Meryl Streep has been nominated for 21. Did the Titanic use more or less than 1,000 tons of coal a day to run? Ooh. It's now. Hope you're well, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you've had a nice day. Did the Titanic use more or less than 1,000 tons of coal a day to run? So Cameron and I was both saying more. It is actually less. The Titanic had a coal storage capacity of 6.611 tonnes and consumed around 825 tonnes of coal a day to run. Okay, the last card for today, guys. Did the Titanic, which sank in 3,800 metres of water, take more or less than 2 minutes to reach the seabed? Did the Titanic, which sank in 3,800 metres of water, take more or less than 2 minutes to reach the seabed? Hey, Emmett the Frog, welcome in. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Thank you for stopping by. It's actually more. The Titanic is estimated to have taken 7 minutes to reach the bottom. So it only took 7 minutes. In the construction of a double-storey home with a floor area of 280 square metres are more or less than 4,000 bricks used. In the construction of a double-storey home with a floor area of 280 square metres are there more or less than 4,000 bricks used. So now say more. And that, yes, that is more. So now the construction of a double-storey home with a floor area of 200 square metres would typically require around 12,000 bricks. I love it that you play games like this on your channel. Oh, thank you, Emmett Frog. You're coming a bit late because this is literally the last card I'm doing for tonight, but we will be back on doing this again at some point next week, and I will have trivia on Sunday. Yes, so if you like trivia, then I do trivia every Sunday. And this Sunday will be all British trivia, so if you want to come along and take part in some British trivia, maybe go and do some little research now. You've got up until Sunday to study some British history. I'm going to fail Sunday. Just like I do when you do the American Trivia Days. It's what's called karma. Get your own back. Okay. The next one. On average, is the length of your intestines more or less than 2 times the length of your body? I don't know what you either laugh at. Optimism never hurt anybody, does Everyone say more. Yep. So now you was wrong, mate. It is more. Intestines are on average around 4 times the length of your body. Or the size of 2 tennis courts, apparently. So is the longest recorded interval between the births of 2 twins more or less than 1 month? Is the longest recorded interval between the birth of twins more or less than 1 month? The size of my belly, mate. I'd expect the intestines to be longer than me. They are, Cameron, don't worry. More because shocking. Yes, you're actually right, it is more. Mariah Jones Elliott from Ireland gave birth to twins 87 days apart. This set the record for the twins with the longest interval between their births. So 87 days between born. But yet again, they're still twins. That's crazy. Well, I want to say thank you all for stopping by and playing tonight. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you all. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday evening. And thank you again. It's been such a pleasure. I've enjoyed having you all around. It's been fun again. I enjoy doing this and having you lot as part of my life. And yep, I shall see you all on the next one. Peace out. Have a wonderful evening. Much love. Blessings to each and every one of you. Love you all. And leave you. And take care. Thank you again. Take care, folks. Same to you. Have a great night, Hermit, Miss Daisy May, Gaza, Sonel, Pezzo, Uncle Airball for stopping by, Cameron. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Until next time. Peace.